Hi, Flosstube. Welcome back to Coco the Creative. I'm Coco, and this is Flosstube number 7. Today, I'm going to talk about my progress with Sampler September, as well as any new things that I've started, any new starts, and um, what else am I talking about? Oh, I'm introducing a new kind of uh, feature in my video where I show off one or two pieces from my stash. And that is so I don't have to do a whole stash video because I just don't want to do that. I think this is a better way for me to get through everything in my stash. That way you guys can see something new and you're not just looking at the same stitches in every video, because I know I don't have that many whips going on at one time. And then at the very end, I'm going to talk about books that I've finished, because I've finished a couple of books, and books that I'm currently reading, and a book that I wrote. I have told you, mentioned a couple of times that I am an indie author, but I haven't talked about any of my books yet, but I've been currently um, promoting one of my books in particular because we're getting into the fall setting and it's like a cozy fantasy. So I'm talking a lot about it on my socials, and I'm going to talk about it here. So yeah, if you're into that stuff, it'll be at the very end. So let's go ahead and get into the stitching. So Sampler September has been going really well for me. My process is kind of developed organically, which I'm really glad for. I didn't have like big kind of like goals or expectations for myself. I just knew that there were two pieces in particular that I wanted to work on the hardest, and that was my tea time sampler and my turtle quaker. So what I usually do is I work on my tea time sampler in the morning. I call it my morning stitch, and I usually just try to get through one cell, like one little block in the pattern. And once I do that, I'll switch over to the turtles and I'll work on those until I'm tired. And then if I still want to stitch samplers, I'll pick up one of my other two projects. And one of them I ended up fudging, but we'll talk about that later. And then at the end of the day, I work on my underwater tapestry. And on the weekends, I actually take a break from the samplers. If I really want to work on them, I'll let myself work on them on the weekends. But on the weekends, I usually let that be a time to work on my tapestry, because that's the most fun and relaxing thing for me to work on. Do a new start if I feel like it. This past weekend, I kitted stuff up, which I hate kidding things up. But like once I start, then I'm like, okay, I have to finish this. And I feel better when stuff is kitted up. So yeah, I just let the weekend be a time for me to like breathe and kind of like, it's almost like free time, like wild card. Like I can just kind of do what I want in terms of my stitching. And then that gives me a nice break from my samplers. So when I get back into it during the weekday, I feel like refreshed and ready to work on them again. So I really have been enjoying how that's going. Okay, so I'm going to show you the progress that I've made on my tea time sampler. I'm still on this like fleur de lis stamp in the corner of it, but it's going to be done pretty soon. I just have to do obviously this little bit right here, and then there's a bottom section. And once that's over, I can pick the next motif that I want to work on in this section. So yeah, it's been going really well. Okay, next one. I think I'm just going to put it back where it was. Take a sip of water. Next one I'm working on is the Turtle Quaker. I am super, super proud of myself with this one so far. Sorry, I have like a needle on here. But I am almost done with the first page of this thing. And this week was very exciting because I have gotten to this turtle, and there's like a fin up here that cuts off from the next page. But this is a completely different color. This turtle is like a completely different color from the other ones. It's almost like a mustard yellow. And that's just been a really exciting color to work with because the greens are very, it's been all greens and blues. So yeah, and there's not that many colors. I can show you, hold on one sec. This was one of the projects that I kitted up properly. So now I have all the colors. Yeah. So not that many colors in this piece, which is probably why I don't see a lot of people going for this piece. But yeah, those are the colors. And yeah, it's the first time I've been working with like this kind of mustardy greenish gold. And it was exciting. But I am, like I said, almost done with the first page. Oh, I don't think I finished this big turtle last time I talked about this. So, you know, I'm like 1/4 done with this. This is going to be the biggest turtle on the whole piece. And let's not talk about my margins. Like they're very small. Sorry. This is like the first, this is like the first sampler, like counted sampler that I've done. So yeah. So yeah, I'm just really glad, or I'm really proud of myself for that because I've been working on the turtles pretty diligently. I have worked a little bit on my ornamental eggs, but I'm not going to show those because it's just not, you can't really see the progress. And I actually don't have them up here. It's like my travel piece, so it's downstairs. And then, guys, I had to fudge. I had to fudge one of my projects. I don't really like doing that. And I wouldn't say that I'm completely like UFOing this project. I'm going to start it over again, but I'm going to do it on a different fabric and I'm going to do it at a different time. I just don't think I can have that many samplers going on at one time. I just don't think that I like working on samplers enough to have more than 2-ish going on at the same time. And this was the one that was on, I'm not going to take out the fabric it was on, but it was on the like pink, greenish tie-dye fabric from Volcano Stitchery. I was getting frustrated because that was the one that was really hard to see. And it's easier for me to see in real life, like not on camera, but it is still hard to make out because the floss is variegated. So like whenever the yellow would show up on the lighter parts of the fabric, it was difficult for me to focus on. And as the pattern started just like forming, I just started hating hating it. I liked the pattern and I like the floss and I like the fabric. I just do not like how they all mesh together. So I'm going to restart that one on a different kind of fabric, on like a darker fabric with the same floss so that it can pop better. But I'm already working on a dark fabric and I just find that like I don't really like to work on dark fabric in general. Like I was watching some videos and of floss tubers who were stitching on like black fabric and it was making my eyes hurt just watching them talk about it. Like I don't like stitching on dark fabric. So I think I can only have one project like that going on at a time. So that one is just like in the past, it's okay. I told myself I feel like I'm going to walk away from this project at some point anyway. So it's okay. But even though I put something aside to work on at a later time, I put something to bed, I have a new start. And this is exciting because I think this is a cross stitch piece that a lot of people are familiar with. So as you probably know, JetX Stitch has come out with a new piece called Blueberry J. And you are probably familiar with red cherry magpie. I've been seeing a lot of Flosstubers talk about red cherry magpie. Really cool piece. I red is another color that I don't like to stitch on or with, and it's, I don't know. I noticed that any of my pieces that where it's like red is the focus, when I'm stitching them, I'm like, I'd rather be stitching on something blue, green, in that color wheel. But when I saw Blueberry J, I was like, oh, I don't have a bird piece going on right now because I finished the rooster that I was working on. And I have no like bird focus pieces. And I think I just want to have at least one going on at a time. So I ordered it, and I ordered it very close to the day that it was going to be released. So I didn't have to wait that long. Okay. I do have a physical copy. I'm trying to pull out the picture. So this is the picture. I did want to do all the called fors. So it is, I have all the called for floss. I got everything from 123 Stitch, but I think I got my, my PDF file, or not PDF file, but I got my physical print pattern from Etsy. And I am, so it's on a 40 count linen, and we'll talk about the linen in a second because I do not have the call for linen, and it's 1/2. I have never stitched with one strand of floss before. I think I tried it one time and I didn't like it on the fabric that I had because it was like too loosey-goosey. I think it was on like 28 count fabric. I didn't like how that was. But 1/2 is a lot easier on 40 count, on a higher count fabric, I'm realizing. And yeah, it's been good so far. So let me talk about my progress with that and the linen. And I have like no goal, like long-term goals for this. I'm just, because it's a count higher than I'm used to, and working with one strand of floss, which I'm also not used to. I'm really taking my time. I really just want to enjoy this for what it is. The colors are really, really gorgeous, guys. Like it, it I told my husband, like, when I'm working with the purple, it feels like it's like stitching like like uh like a berry that has like bursted on your page. Like it's like stitching berry juice. It's so vibrant. And that might be because the particular floss that I'm working with is Threadworks, and the rest of the, well, the rest of the uh, stitches in DMC. But here's the thing with the fabric that I have. So the called for fabric is like 40 count malachite. I don't know the linen. I don't know the rest of the name of the stuff. And they did not have that in stock when I ordered this. And I was kind of relieved that I got to choose a different fabric, because while I do think that the original fabric is gorgeous, it's dark. It's not, it's kind of like a cloudy green. It's not like super dark, like gemstone malachite, but it is dark enough for me to be like, oi, this might take me a minute. So when I found that out, I was like, okay, I'm going to just pick a different fabric in the same count. So I looked around and I was just trying to think like what the pattern would look good on. And I got this pickled Newcastle linen to work on. So it has that mottled tie-dye look, but just look how the colors pop. It looks better in person, but like look how the colors pop on this. It is just like spilled berries. I love it so much. So I'm really excited to work on this. It does not hurt my eyes to look at. I mean, like, it's already bad enough that it's 40 count, so that takes a lot of concentration and it's one strand of floss. But the fact that it's just such a lovely, and I don't have any fabric in this shade of green, so I don't even think this is going to take up the whole um, fabric. So I'm excited to use this fabric with other things, but I'm just so excited to work on this. And it's just been a really, like, the little bit of time that I have worked on it has been really pleasant. I might in the future, I don't know if I'm used to, I haven't quite gotten the hang of working off of a printed pattern yet. So I think in the future, once this pattern's been around for a while, I might go ahead and get the PDF version um, as I get deeper into the pattern. But yeah, for now, I'm really enjoying myself. Okay, so before I talk about books, I want to show, oh no, sorry, one more stitch before I get into my stash. So you guys are very familiar with this one. It's my underwater tapestry. Since I finished this really big chunk or this big section of coral at the bottom, which I've already shown off, so I'm not going to show it off too much. I'm going to, or I decided to work on the top more. So I think I've gotten a lot done since I last showed this to you, but I've worked more on the tree. I think the last time you saw this, there was no tree done on one side of this bubble. And now I have all of this section of the tree completed. And I have the basically the background water section, a lot of that done. And I think I can get this section just to this line done by the end of the weekend. And then once I finish off that section, I'm going to go back down to the bottom and work on like these two rows of coral all the way across. And I'm just going to bounce back and forth between the top and the bottom until I meet myself in the middle. But yeah, I will never stop saying this. This stitch is really fun to stitch on. It is 9 count. I don't think I talk about the dimensions for this. It is 9 count. It is like 185, or I'm sorry, 85 by like 100 centimeters, 85 centimeters by 100 centimeters. Yeah, it's massive. I'm going to like kind of make it into a quilt. Get it like backed and bordered with quilting fabric when I'm done with it, and turn it into a tapestry. And I decided I'm going to hang it in my daughter's room because she loves mermaids right now. And I think I can get this done by by the middle of this next, like 2026. So I think I can get this halfway by the end of this year, but I am switching this out with a different 9 count Joy Autumn piece. The Santas, the Santas with the pandas that I showed you in one of my old videos. So, but I'm still hopeful that I can get halfway through this before 2025 is over, because there's other Joy Autumn pieces that I want to work on and put in my other kids' rooms and stuff. Okay. So now that we have talked about cross stitch, we are entering the phase of the video where I talk about books. So books that I've finished. I finished Hen Party by Josie Avery, and that was the cozy mystery that I was reading that takes place in Hawaii. I liked how it ended, but I just didn't like the plot of this one. I don't know. It was very like, I don't know, there was a lot of characters like from the military, and there was like a cop detective that I really didn't like in there, and it was just, I don't know. It was just subject matter that I wasn't crazy about, but I still liked the book. Think I gave it like 3 stars on Goodreads, but if I could have, I would have given it like 3.5 stars. So yeah, I've moved on. I mean, I liked it enough that I'm moving on to the next book. So yeah, the next book in the series is Hard Boiled, which is what I'm reading right now. I'm on chapter 6. I think I'm already liking the the mystery plot in this one more than I liked the second one. And I think that the main character, Saffron, is going to meet a new like potential love interest, so that's exciting. Because I think the guy that was in like the first and second book was like the safe love interest. So I think we're going to be meeting some more interesting people, not to spoil it or anything like that. I'm really bad at I try not to give too much about the book, but sometimes I'm like, is this a spoiler? I don't know. But okay, so yeah, I've finished reading Hen Party. I also finished a manga that I was reading, which I don't think I ever introduced it. No, I don't think I introduced it. So I'm reading a manga series called Yona of the Dawn, and I finished volume 17. And now I'm kind of like back into reading Yona of the Dawn. And just a little backstory on the book. So this is an older manga. I don't know if the manga series has finished. It's pretty long, but like they started running an anime, but the anime is like not complete. It cut off, and I don't know if it's going to come back. But the manga is a lot longer than the anime, so I'm just enjoying that while I can. And it's about a princess, and she's kind of like sheltered, um, and everything. And she has these two childhood friends. One of them is the son of like a lord, and the other one is the son of a major general that protects her lands. And the son of the lord, once they're all kind of like in their teenage phase, the son of the lord um like murders her father, who's the king. And she was like, this was the childhood friend that she was like in love with as a girl. um and so like she feels betrayed, but she's like in this state of shock. She's betrayed, feels betrayed and everything like that. And he orders her to be killed, or I think he tries to kill her or something like that. And then when she gets away, he orders her to be killed. And so she runs away with her other childhood friend, the son of the general, and he's like, warrior type. They run off into the country and stuff like that. And this is like the setup for the book. Like this happens like in the first volume. And so she has to like, she's basically like a princess on the run. And um she's like trying to help her nation while being undercover. And she like comes into herself, and like, because she starts off very, very, very sheltered, and she doesn't really know like what's going on in her kingdom. um and like, so she's like learning about like the flaws like in her father's rule. And it's like she has very conflicting feelings towards um the guy that killed her father, because she was like 100% deeply in love with him. And now she's like, oh, like, I can kind of see why you killed my dad, but obviously, like, we don't, like, this is treason. Like, we're not supposed to be doing this just because, rulers are not doing the right thing in these monarchies and stuff. So that's the setup for the story. It's really good. It's really, really good. It's yeah, so I don't want to give anything else away, but that's like the setup. But yeah, I'm on book 18. Okay. So those are the books that I finished. The books that I'm reading, I did put one of my books away. So, or I stopped reading it. So I DNF'd Beware of Chicken, because I just got to a point where I was just really turned off by what was going on in the book. And it wasn't like anything bad. I was just like, okay, I don't think I want to keep reading this. And I feel like I wanted to make room for stuff that I wanted to read more than Beware of Chicken. So I'm not reading Beware of Chicken anymore, but I am still reading the Two Towers, like in the second book in the Lord of the Rings series. I'm still reading Fated Sun. I'm still reading A Bond Undone. Those are all of my long-term audiobooks, and I usually listen to them when I'm working out or like just stitching. Sometimes when I'm stitching, I'll listen to them if I'm going to be sitting around for a long time. But I make slow progress with those books. The books that I'm kind of actively reading on my Kindle right now is Hard Boiled by Josie Avery. That's the third book in the Aloha Chicken Mystery series. Yeah. And I'm trying to read more indie books, especially indie books by uh, like marginalized authors. So like BIPOC, queer, intersectionality with all of that authors, because I am in that pool of authors. And I'm on threads, and like so I interact with a lot of like indie authors and stuff like that. So I'm trying to read more books in the genres that I like by these authors. And so one that I started like a week ago is called The Rise of the Dark Throne by Lihia Cushman. And I'm really enjoying this so far. It's like one of those books where it's like you don't want to read it too fast because it's I just really like the world. I'm in a really fantasy mood right now. Like I just really want to read fantasy, play fantasy video games, watch fantasy shows, and I just really like this world that she's created. And like I'm only on chapter 2, and I'm like kind of already like very invested in the characters, and I just like really want to see what happens. But it's a dark fantasy. It has a lot of that kind of like it has like royalty, monarchy type problems, and um but she uses a lot of her like Caribbean background to kind of like flesh out the world and stuff like that, which I appreciate because I also come from a Caribbean background, which I'll talk about more later when I'm talking about my book. But yeah, in the book the covers are gorgeous, and she has like new art for the characters in like the third book and stuff like that. And I kind of want to get like the third book in hard copy. So I'm just like working my way through it. It's on Kindle Unlimited. And if you have Kindle Unlimited, like most of the books that I'm talking about are on Kindle Unlimited. Aloha Chicken Mysteries, that one's on Kindle Unlimited. This one, The Rise of the Dark Throne, is on Kindle Unlimited. So yeah, that's what I'm reading right now. And let's see. Okay. So now I'm going to talk about my book. Yeah, I don't have it here. So I'm just going to put pictures for all of these. So right now I am promoting the cozy fantasy that I wrote and published on Amazon Kindle a few years ago. But a little bit about it. It's called The Clockmaster's Apprentice. It is a clock punk portal fantasy. And at its core, it is a Nutcracker fairy tale retelling. I have always loved the Nutcracker. It's kind of one of my like favorite things about Christmas. I will usually try to watch the Nutcracker, either the ballet or some like adaptation of it on TV. I love going to the Nutcracker, any kind of Nutcracker ballet. I don't care if it's like community theater or like a big production. I've always loved the Nutcracker, and I have like memories of when I was 3 and like when my mom took me to see it for the first time. I remember like the dress that I wore. I'm getting chills. I love the Nutcracker. And I've always wanted to do, at the time before I wrote the Nutcracker, I always wanted to do a fairy tale retelling. And that's the story that I felt the fairy tale that I felt the most connected to. So that's what I wrote about. So in my book, The Clockmaster's Apprentice, the entire cast is Afro-Caribbean. And that's because my dad is actually Bahamian and my stepfather is Jamaican Belizean. So I kept a lot of the original like German influences of the book, but I basically combined my culture with the culture in the Nutcracker story, which was like a really, really fun just writing process in general. Um, and if you are a fan of books like A Wrinkle in Time, Chronicles of Narnia, or fairy tale retellings, then I think you would really like this. And I do consider myself a multi-genre author. I write both YA and new adult. And also, I don't know, I just try to write my books in a way that just because it's YA, like anybody can enjoy it. And honestly, a lot of my readers that I've talked to who have read The Clockmaster's Apprentice are not young. So it's because I'm always kind of like dealing with serious themes throughout my books anyway, but I really did kind of the voice that I'm writing in The Clockmaster's Apprentice, it's very kind of reminiscent of like those classic children's literature, classic YA, if you will. So yeah, I'm super excited about it. And like I said, it is currently available for ebook on Amazon, Kindle Unlimited. And it's a novella, so it's pretty short. It's 163 pages, I believe. So yeah, if you're interested in that, you can, I believe, I will put my Amazon link in the description of this video, but I would really appreciate it if you're interested in that, you add it to your TBR. And if you like the book, you finish the book, you leave a review. Reviews are like super helpful to authors, and they help move our books around and help our like, presence grow and stuff like that. So yeah, that's everything that I have for you. Thank you so much for listening to me. And I just realized that I forgot to talk about my stash. So sorry if you were just here for the cross stitch and you're like, why is she talking about books? What about her stash? Okay, sorry. Here's my stash. Okay, so I got this from 123 Stitch. Do they have bigger pictures in here? Because, let me see. Nope, that's as big as it gets. So, and from my when I'm showing off my stash, these are stitches that I have not stitched. Like, I have not started them. I will make a Whip Parade video later, probably in January, when everybody's, I'm assuming that's when everybody comes out with their Whip Parades, where I show you everything that I have like I actually started putting stitches in, but this is just stuff that I just have in my stash that I have not started at all. Okay, so this is from 123 Stitch. I have to be 100% honest. I do not remember. Okay, so it's called Bathroom Interior. I do not remember the artist, but it's on 123 Stitch. And I gotta be honest about another thing. I have not done back stitching, y'all. Like, but I think that this is gonna be really fun to practice back stitching. And it's just, these are definitely smalls. So it's gonna be just a cute little thing to put in the bathroom. So I'm excited about that. But I'm also a little daunted by the idea of doing backstitch, but I feel like something small like that is fun to practice on. So this is a stamped cross stitch. It is called Sunflower 4. But yeah, I already have a sunflower piece going on right now, but I just really liked this one. I think this one was more artsy because the other one is like a sunflower on a white backdrop, and this one is like an entire like scene. And I just love how they make the flowers look in water. And I mean, I love putting cut flowers in water. I know, so simple, but I just love that. And I don't know, I just really like this piece. I think it's simple, but it's like dramatic at the same time because there's just like a bajillion sunflowers in there. And I like the contrast of like dark and light. I think it just goes really well. And even though this is like a sunflower piece, there's lots of like blues and stuff in there. So it's like, it's flowers and water. And I love stitching stuff that has to do with water, and I also love flowers. And one of my goals is to do a stitch that features a flower that I have either successfully grown or that has grown in my care, that was like in my yard growing when I got my house or whatever, when I was living there. Okay, so now I'm done. I just like, I know I'm forgetting something. Yeah, sorry that that had to come at the end, but now I'm done. So yeah, like the video if you liked the video, and subscribe if you haven't already. And thank you for sticking around and listening to me talk about all the things that I'm doing right now. So I hope you have a good one. Bye.